Capricorn. There's something you've been sensing. Not with your eyes. Not with your ears. But with something far older, something ancient inside your soul. A whisper that rises when you're near a certain someone. Their words sound kind, but something feels off. Their smile looks warm, but their energy chills your bones. You try to shake it off. You try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because you're loyal. Because you're patient. Because you don't accuse without proof. But this weekend, proof is coming. The mask they've worn for far too long, it's about to slip. And once it does, there is no going back. This is not a message to make you afraid. It's a message to awaken what's already stirring inside you. Because God has seen what you could not. He's heard the quiet conversations. He's watched the envy behind the smile. And now, the divine veil is lifting. The false energy around you can no longer hide under charm. This is your spiritual warning. Not from fear, but from clarity. You were never meant to be surrounded by those who fake their loyalty. Capricorn, if you've been feeling uneasy, if something inside of you has been restless lately, then this message has arrived exactly when it was meant to. Stay with me until the end. Because what you're about to hear will do more than prepare you. It will protect you. Part 1. The Whisper Before the Storm. Capricorn. You are not easily shaken. You're not someone who jumps to conclusions. You're not the type to label someone a traitor without watching, waiting, and gathering quiet evidence. But even the most grounded mountain feels tremors before an avalanche. And you, my dear Capricorn, have been feeling tremors for a while now. They come in the form of small moments. That strange tension in the air when a certain person enters the room. That odd silence when you speak of your dreams as if they don't want you to grow any further. The way your phone rings less and less from someone who once checked on you often. The energy feels off. Like your spirit wants to leave the room before your body does. You see, betrayal, especially the kind that's spiritual, doesn't arrive with a bang. It arrives with a whisper. A whisper that says, be careful with them. Don't share that thought. Don't let them too close. At first, you may have called it paranoia. You told yourself you were being too sensitive. You gave them grace, maybe they were just tired. Maybe they were just having a bad day. Because Capricorn, your first instinct is to protect what you love even when it's hurting you. But deep inside, your soul knew. Long before the truth shows itself in the physical, it rumbles in the energetic. And your spirit, wise and ancient, has been picking up on something that your mind hasn't wanted to accept. You remember the moment, don't you? That time you shared a win and noticed how forced their smile felt. Or that time you walked in and the room went strangely quiet. Or when they comforted you with words that felt hollow. Those weren't coincidences. Those were whispers of the storm to come. Capricorn, your discernment is your armor and it's been activated for a reason. This weekend isn't about random drama. It's about divine timing. It's about God peeling back the curtain on something that has been lingering too close for too long. But before the mask falls, the energy shifts. And if you're honest with yourself, it already has. Now, the question is, will you trust the whisper? Or wait until the storm breaks open the truth? Because the whisper is no longer just intuition. It's a divine warning. Life Lesson, Part 1. The first sign of betrayal isn't always a lie. Sometimes, it's a silence that feels too heavy. A glance that avoids eye contact. A smile that doesn't rise to the eyes. Trust your discomfort. God whispers long before he roars. Part 2. The Masked Betrayer. Capricorn. They've walked beside you like a loyal companion. They've laughed at your jokes, applauded your milestones, and prayed with you in moments of weakness. They may even share your blood, or your bed. And that's what makes this revelation so devastating. You see, betrayal from a stranger hurts, but betrayal from someone close, that leaves a scar across your soul. There is someone in your life who has perfected the art of pretense. They've studied your rhythm. They've memorized your words. They know how to echo your dreams and mirror your fears just enough to stay close without revealing their intent. They don't storm into your life to destroy. They blend in. They camouflage. And the most chilling part, they believe their role is righteous even as they plant seeds of confusion and envy around your roots. You've likely second-guessed this person before, but you also remember the kind things they've done. The way they showed up for you that one time. The way they defended you when others didn't. But here's the truth, Capricorn. A poisonous vine can still produce a few sweet berries, but it's still toxic underneath. And this person, they've been feeding you just enough comfort to keep you blind to the corrosion happening behind the scenes. They gossip when you're not around. They downplay your success to others. They copy your moves but resent your glow. They say they're happy for you, but it's a happiness layered with comparison, control, and quiet competition. Capricorn, they don't just envy you, they want to be you. And yet, they also want to see you fall, because your rising threatens everything they believe about themselves. But here's what they didn't count on: your discernment, your divine protection, and the timing of the weekend that is coming. Because this weekend, the light will shine in places they thought were hidden forever. And the mask they've worn so tight, so carefully, will crack. Life Lesson, Part 2. Not everyone who walks beside you is walking with you. Sometimes, the ones who cheer the loudest are hoping you'll stumble. Pay attention not just to what people say in front of you, but what your spirit hears behind their words. Discernment is not judgment. It's protection. And the mask always falls eventually. Part 3. Divine exposure has a timing. Capricorn, you've probably asked yourself, if this person was never for me, why didn't I see it sooner? Or worse, why didn't God show me earlier? But here's the truth most people forget. God doesn't reveal to punish, He reveals to protect. And divine protection is always perfectly timed. There were moments in your past when, if this betrayal had been exposed, you wouldn't have been strong enough to handle it. You would have clung to the connection, begged for answers, tried to fix what was never real. But now you've grown. Now you're ready to see clearly. Now you've stepped into a version of yourself that no longer negotiates with false loyalty. Capricorn, timing is everything. And God has been watching, not just them, but you. He's seen the way you held your tongue out of grace. He's watched your heart break in silence while still showing up strong. He's heard the quiet prayers you whispered into your pillow at night, asking for clarity, for peace, for truth. This weekend, the truth arrives. And it's not coming quietly. There may not be fireworks or dramatic arguments. But something will shift. A conversation may fall apart mid-sentence. A smile may slip into a glare. A piece of information will surface that ties everything together. And in that moment, everything will click. It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. Because when God chooses to reveal something, it's not because He suddenly found out. It's because you're finally ready to see it. You've done the inner work. You've healed enough to stand in truth without needing permission. And now, the divine veil is lifting, not to destroy your world, but to protect your destiny. Life Lesson, Part 3. Truth doesn't arrive early, it arrives when you're strong enough to hold it. Divine timing isn't delayed, it's perfectly aligned with your growth. When exposure comes, don't curse the timing, honor the protection. What feels like a disruption is actually a rescue mission from heaven. Sometimes, the delay is mercy. Part 4. The Fire of Revelation, this weekend. Capricorn, you may not see it coming like thunder. It won't always arrive with screaming or accusations. But make no mistake, this weekend, the fire of revelation is coming. And it will burn away every illusion. The energy around you will shift, not subtly, but spiritually. You'll walk into a room and feel the tension cling to your skin like fog. Someone's tone will sound different. A glance will linger too long. A conversation will feel oddly rehearsed, like they're saying what they think you want to hear, not what's true. Capricorn, you are not imagining this. That uneasy flutter in your chest. It's not anxiety. It's discernment. You'll begin to see cracks in the story. You'll catch words that contradict what they said last week. You'll notice the way they shrink when you shine. You'll feel a sudden heaviness around certain people, as if your spirit wants to back away before your body even realizes why. Pay attention. Don't dismiss the small moments. A random disagreement might spark seemingly out of nowhere, but it's not random. It's divine design. That awkward pause, that eye roll, that slip of the tongue, it's not an accident. It's the universe forcing what's hidden to surface. And when it does, don't look away. Don't make excuses. Don't explain away what your spirit already knew. You see, Capricorn, you've been loyal to a fault. You've given people too many chances, hoping they'd rise. But when God sends revelation, He expects you to receive it, not reason with it. This weekend, expect the energy to feel heavier before it feels lighter. Why? Because darkness always resists the light right before it breaks. And what's about to break is every illusion you've been living under. But once it breaks, your freedom begins. Life Lesson, Part 4. God doesn't shout, He whispers, then reveals. When something feels off, it's not paranoia. It's preparation. The small cracks are divine clues. Don't wait for lightning to confirm what your spirit already knows in silence. Your breakthrough often begins with your willingness to stop doubting your intuition. Part 5. Spiritual Warfare in the Circle. Capricorn. Let's step deeper now. This isn't just about someone lying. It's not just about fake smiles or whispered words behind your back. This is spiritual warfare, and it's happening inside your circle. There are people who walk beside you not because they love you, but because they see your light. And they want to get close to it, not to honor it, but to contain it. You, Capricorn, carry a rare energy. You move with purpose. You build with intention. Your very existence exposes people who are drifting without direction. And that makes you dangerous to the wrong hearts. So what happens? Darkness doesn't come at you head on. It looks for open doors, and it finds them in those closest to you. People you trust. People who know your plans. People who've heard your doubts and seen your tears. People who know exactly where your soul is most vulnerable. It's not always intentional. Some are simply weak, and darkness uses their insecurity as a weapon. Others are fully aware. They've allowed jealousy to grow roots. They've allowed comparison to fester into quiet sabotage. And they wear love as a costume while harboring resentment like a secret agenda. This is why you've felt drained after being around them. This is why your goals started to stall after you shared them. This is why your peace gets disturbed, even when nothing was said. You're not crazy. You're not overthinking. You're standing in the middle of a spiritual battle, and the enemy is trying to use familiarity as a disguise. But here's the good news. The enemy underestimated one thing: your evolution. Capricorn, you've changed. Your energy is no longer compatible with anything fake. And so, the mask must fall, not because you asked for it, but because your vibration can no longer tolerate betrayal. This weekend, the exposure won't just be personal, it will be spiritual alignment in action. Life Lesson, Part 5. The closer someone stands to your light, the more clearly they reveal their shadow. Not all who sit at your table were sent by God, some were sent to study you. But spiritual battles are not won by noise, they are won by clarity, boundaries, and faith. Protect your peace. Because not everyone near you is for you, and not everyone for you deserves a seat. Part 6. Letting the mask fall without a fight. Capricorn. When the mask finally slips, when the truth you've long suspected finally stands in the open, your first instinct may be to confront. You may want to look them in the eye and demand, "Why would you do this to me? How long have you been lying? Was anything ever real?" And no one would blame you for that. After all, you gave them space in your life, in your heart, that you don't give easily. But this is a spiritual unveiling. And it requires a higher response. Because the moment the mask falls, something powerful happens. They are finally seen, and they know it. Their illusion no longer works. Their charm no longer binds. Their manipulation no longer confuses you. That's why the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is nothing. Don't defend. Don't chase answers. Don't try to force apologies or justifications. Because silence, your silence, becomes the loudest truth in the room. Capricorn, when you say nothing, it tells them, "I see you. Fully. And I'm not going to entertain this any longer. Let the truth do its work. Let their actions echo in their own conscience. Let their energy reveal what their words never could. You are not responsible for managing their guilt. You are not required to mend what was built on deception. What's fake doesn't deserve your energy anymore. This is the season where God is clearing your path. Don't slow the process by trying to patch up something heaven is tearing down. Let the mask fall and let it stay on the floor. Because when truth enters, closure isn't a conversation, it's clarity. Life Lesson, Part 6. You don't need a dramatic exit to win. Sometimes, the most divine closure is silent recognition. You saw the truth. You felt the shift. You walked away with grace. Never beg someone to explain their betrayal. Let their absence become the answer you never needed to ask for. Part 7. Healing after the exposure. Capricorn. After the truth settles, comes the silence. And that's often the hardest part. Not the moment of exposure, but the echo that follows. The memories. The replaying of conversations. The wondering, was it all a lie? How did I not see it sooner? You begin to question not just them, but yourself. And that, Capricorn, is where the real wound lives. Not in the betrayal, but in the self-doubt it leaves behind. You gave your trust, the most sacred part of you. You offered your presence, your wisdom, your loyalty. And someone treated it like a tool, not a treasure. It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to miss the version of them you thought was real. Because even if they were wearing a mask, your love for them was real. And mourning that love is not weakness. It's sacred closure. But here's what you must remember. Don't let their deception redefine your worth. Just because they couldn't honor what you gave, doesn't mean it wasn't worthy. Capricorn, the world needs your heart open. Not guarded. Not walled up. Not locked behind cold silence. Because when you shut yourself off from love, trying to protect yourself, you also shut yourself off from the ones who are being sent to love you right. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning. And now you've learned what fake love looks like. What real energy feels like. What not to tolerate again. Let yourself cry. Let yourself release. But don't let yourself shrink. Because you are not broken. You're just being rebuilt, wiser, stronger, clearer. Life Lesson, Part 7. A broken trust can bruise your spirit, but it can't steal your light unless you let it. Healing isn't pretending you weren't hurt. It's knowing you'll never be hurt that way again. Grief is sacred, but so is hope. Keep your heart open. But this time, let your soul decide who enters, not your history. Part 8. Rebuilding your sacred circle. Capricorn. Now that the veil has lifted, now that the hidden enemy has been revealed, you may feel an emptiness where a connection used to be. A space. A silence. An absence. But don't mistake that space for a loss. It's a clearing. A sacred reset. The people who were removed, they weren't part of your future. They were part of a test. You see, not everyone is meant to rise with you. Some were only meant to walk with you until the path got steep. Until your calling became too loud, too bright, too undeniable. They couldn't hold the weight of your destiny. And that's okay, because you're not being punished. You're being refined. This is the season where your circle gets smaller but stronger. Fewer people, deeper loyalty. Fewer voices, clearer energy. Fewer distractions, more direction. And here's what's even more beautiful. God is not just removing. He's preparing. There are souls being aligned with yours even now. People who won't compete with your light, they'll protect it. People who don't fear your strength, they'll celebrate it. People who don't mimic your path, they'll walk beside you in truth. These are the ones your heart's been aching for. The ones you prayed for, even when you didn't have the words. But in order for them to come, the counterfeits had to go. Capricorn, this weekend isn't about loneliness. It's about legacy. And only those who are spiritually mature enough to honor your calling will be allowed into your next chapter. You don't need a crowd. You need alignment. Life Lesson, Part 8. Sometimes, divine protection looks like disconnection. Don't chase what God is replacing. The absence of the wrong ones creates space for the right ones. And your next chapter requires relationships that can hold the weight of your truth, your power, and your purpose. Conclusion: the truth that sets you free. Capricorn. This wasn't just a message. It was a mirror. A spiritual checkpoint. A divine conversation your soul has been waiting for, even if your mind didn't know how to ask for it. This weekend will not be remembered for the betrayal. It will be remembered for the truth that set you free. You didn't lose something, you released what was quietly stealing your peace. You didn't get abandoned, you got protected. You didn't fall apart, you rose in clarity. Now you know what fake love sounds like. Now you can feel the difference between closeness and connection. Now you are no longer available to those who only came close to control you. Capricorn, you are no longer blind to the shadows. Because the light within you burns too bright to be fooled again. Let the mask fall. Let the silence settle. Let your spirit rise, without apology, without hesitation. Because God isn't just exposing, He's elevating. You are being set apart. Not to be lonely, but to be prepared. Not to be punished, but to be positioned. This is not the end. It's the beginning of your most protected, powerful, and purposeful season yet. Final life lesson. Exposure is not revenge, it's revelation. And revelation is not loss, it's liberation. The truth may sting, but it never leaves you stuck. Let the old fall away so the sacred can begin. The future is clearer now, and so are you. Call to action. If this message resonated with you, Capricorn, if you feel something shifting inside you as you hear these words, then this wasn't just a video, it was divine timing. Subscribe now to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. This channel was made for souls like yours, deep, discerning, destined for more. Because you deserve guidance that's sacred, not shallow. And here, truth always finds you. Capricorn, your path is protected. Your energy is rare. And your journey is only just beginning. We'll walk it with you every step of the way.